Yay, I turned it on so you can hear me. Can you hear me? Hi, everyone. Looks like we have a nice group going on. And make sure I can get my sound on appropriately. Let's see. I think I do. Then we'll get started here in just a second. Okay, you hear me. All right. That's good. Okay. All right. Hasn't today been a wonderful little trip through everybody's imaginations? I have thoroughly enjoyed this morning's hoppers and what they've come up with. Everything is so different and exciting, and I just have really enjoyed it. I think it'd probably be a good idea if I had someone as a what's going on here? As a my mouse just stopped working. To help me out a little bit, is there anybody who'd volunteer? Let me get over here where I can fix it. Get over here where I can fix it. Thanks, Kimberly. Not always. All right, now, thanks, Kimberly. Let me turn that sound off there. All right, now, there we go. Sorry, I'm a little new at this, so just bear with me till I get going here, and then I'll be fine. Okay, Vanessa. Now I have to remember how to do it. Give me 1 second here. Vanessa. Yeah, well, I cannot remember how to do it over here in let me come back. Somebody remind me how to do it in YouTube. Remind me how to do it in YouTube, Vanessa. But anyway, I've just totally enjoyed everyone's ideas. The little round window diorama, the Anne's room that she's making. It's just it's just really interesting, and that's what I like. That's what I like about the hop. We get one idea, and everyone can just go wild with it and do whatever they want to do. So I really enjoy that. I'm looking forward to okay, I remember now. I'm looking forward to going to the rest of the hop to see what everybody else is doing. Now, I'm going to warn you, I have not gone hog wild this time and done a lot of crazy things. Mine's just kind of simple. And okay, so I'm totally lost. Let me get back over here to StreamYard. We'll just go on. I'm not going to worry about it. If something comes up, then we'll just take care of it then. Hi, Janet. Okay, so like I said, I'm staying kind of little this time. I had this little box, and I think it's 3 by 3. Let me measure it again. No, it's smaller than that. It's about 2 3/4 by 2 3/4 and 1 inch thick. And this is the box that I had just purchased a new pair of earphones or ear pods or earbuds or whatever you call those things. And this is the box that came in it. So I thought, well, that'll be something cute. I can use that. And see, I think I've already got Janet turned on. It doesn't. Oh, well, I'm not going to waste my time doing that. It's either going to work or it's not. So we won't worry about it. We'll be okay. So anyway, I thought this box was such a cute size, and Apple products come in the neatest boxes. They're always really nice and sturdy, and they have little pull outs and all kinds of things like that. So I thought, oh, I'll just do something small. And so this is what I came up with. So my box is just and plus it was around Halloween when I started thinking about it. So we're playing checkers again today, right? Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Thanks, Lori. So I thought, well, I want to use some wire and make some little trees and, do something with that. So I thought, okay, I can make a little scene that will take us down to a walkway. So here's the inside. Now I did some of this on a pre-video that you can see on my channel, but I painted the background, and if I get a better light, there's a little road that goes back in there, and the trees. I know it's dark. I wanted it to be dark. I wanted it to look like you're going down a dark lane, and that's pretty much what I've done here. And so there's already one tree in here. I realize that's hard to see because it is black. It's copper wire painted black. And so they're glued in on each side. And then I'm going to glue another one in while you're here. And here's you can maybe see the tree a little bit better. So it's just a little twisted wire tree. And I didn't worry about covering every single bit of the copper because I thought that would, it would pick up the light a little bit. And this one has a little bird on it. So he goes in the front. Okay. So we're going to glue him in. And then I was looking for something. I got these wax seal things, and I have a lot of different stamps, and this one has a tree on it. So I'm going to see if I can't lighten the tree, and I think I'm going to stick it on the front. So that's just like a little embellishment, sort of. And so those are the two things we're going to do to finish this. Now, the other thing I did, I'll tell you the mistake that I made, because we always need to know the mistakes. Mistakes are as important as the successes. So when I started with this box, I thought that it was, that it would be fine to paint it because I didn't think it had a slick enough finish to be a problem. And I was wrong. I was totally wrong. So it has been a real pain inside and out. Every time I would scratch it against something, it would totally scratch off. And so then I thought, well, I guess I should just use some varnish on it to hold it on there. So, I touched up all the spots, and then I varnished the outsides of the box. You can see how shiny it is. And I use this when I use Delta Cream Coat Gloss Interior Varnish for indoors. And that's helped a lot. I still had a couple little places, but I think I've pretty much got them in control now. If I went in here right now with something and scraped it across the inside, it probably would scrape. But I'm not going to worry about it because once everything's in here, nobody's going to be bothering it. So I'm just going to go ahead, and I think my glue gun's hot over here, and just put a little dab of glue on and glue this little tree in. Now I think I've got it bent the way I want it, hopefully. And that it won't be a problem to get in here just right. I think I'm going to use my pliers to hold it. Okay. And then I'm just going to plop it in there. And one thing I did do, my idea had a lot more trees than this in my mind. It would have been more trees. But this box is only so big. And, you know, the trees can only hold so many trees and still be able to close. And I keep having a problem with this little bird. Let me get this up here where I'm in the right place. With this little bird, because he wants to stick out. So I need to bend this down just a little bit. Get him where I want him. Still want him in the tree. There. Now I think he'll be okay. Thanks, Meri. I can get that pushed in far enough, so I'm going to have to trim it. Now there's little, I'm going to show you how to make one of these trees. I did show how to make one in the preview, or in the, whatever you call it, the pre-video, but I think I'll have time. I can show it again, but I need to trim this off because, and this is just wire, thin wire with glue in the middle of it, but it's got to be, yeah, see, that's what happens. It's got to be back far enough so the box will close, and I didn't have it back far enough. Okay, number two. Get in there, tree. There he goes. So, you know, I wanted it to look with perspective. So I was going to have like several trees getting bigger as you go along, and so that it would look like you were looking down a lane. And I wanted the trees to sort of be over the top, like a, I'm getting this too big, like a, you know, like a lane that you go down in the country, and the trees are grown over at the top. So it makes like a tunnel. And that's what I had in mind to do. But like I said, there was not enough room in there. So you have to do what you have to do. So now I've got, oh, you know what? I could use a light to show you, I think. Let me use my phone with my light on there. And there. See? So there's the road, and then you can see the trees back in the background that I painted in. And then the sky and the moon, and a little bit of a cloud. Then the other trees are in the foreground. So that was my idea, was to make it real dimensional. I'm just going to color the edge of this so it doesn't show. Oh, Bella's decided she wants to say hello. I hear her down there. That's my dog. She's done quite a bit of conversation today. Okay, so there. Now that is all I'm going to do on the inside, because not much else will fit. I thought about putting some things down here, but I just decided it would be too crowded. So I also took one of these little, and I forgot what these things are called, these little knobs that you get from Tim Holtz. You make a hole through there, and it screws on. I think everybody's pretty familiar with those. Oh, I'm so glad to see you all here. Thanks for coming. So you have a little post and a little screw. I love these things. I use them for so much stuff. And you poke a hole, you put the screw through the hole, and then you screw this onto it, and it makes a knob or a post or whatever you want to use it for. So I put that on there for a handle because it was kind of hard to get it open without that. And so this just goes in here and closes up, and there you go. It's in this little box. Nothing's going to fall because it's all glued down. So then I wanted to, this is a wax seal. It has a tree on it. So I wanted a purple one, but I didn't have a purple one made, and I didn't want to get it all out. So we're just going to go with this black one. I'm going to try this purple and see if it will work on it. Now, I'm sure you can't see what I'm doing, but oh yeah, I think it'll show up. After I do it, you'll be able to see it. I got a whole bunch of wax stamps, and I've really had fun with them. I tried to get ones that were, you know, different subjects that were popular and use, and also things that I would be likely to want to use. Okay, so there we go. That worked. So here it is. Come on, little camera. You can tell. So now there's a little tree on there. So I'm going to glue this on the top and let that be the decoration. But I did want to put something with it. Let's see. I'm looking on my roll around hanger thing for something to use. And what is it going to be? It's going to be I hadn't picked it yet. Maybe this. Might be too wide. Maybe not. Scissors. We need scissors. And I don't know if I'm going to like this. I have the feeling I won't. But, you know, you got to try stuff. I just want something to set it off a little bit so that it doesn't just look, so it doesn't get lost in the checkers because it's also purple. Not sure that's what I want. Let's see what else I've got to use. Black would be too dark. Wouldn't help any. Maybe this. Oh, Lori, you're so funny. Oh, I know what I could do. Just like this. Oh, yeah, I like this idea. So we'll glue these down. Make sure I got the right side. With lace, it's kind of sometimes you don't know if it's the right side or not. Sometimes it's a little easier to tell. You know, I can remember back in the day, I'm thinking like in the 80s, I used to do a whole lot of stuff with glue, with hot glue, florals and all different kinds of things like that. I hardly ever get my glue gun out anymore. I need to use it more. But I used to go through glue guns, you know, and I'd buy the heavy duty ones, but I used them so much that I was always having to go buy a new glue gun. Times change with what tools you use, depending on what you're doing. Lori thinks she's special. Okay, so trim that. Let's glue this down. Strings. You tell I'm in a cold, or not cold, but cool basement. So the strings are worse. Okay, let's put this here. I like that. Oh, but I put it upside down. Oh dear. Oh dear. Here we go. Try that again. Right side up. Alrighty. There we go. I like it. What do you think? Now this looks blue, but it's really very purple, very purple. And the sky has a lot of purple and dark blue in it. You just can't tell it on the camera, but it is truly purple. Okay. I like it. I thought about putting some little legs on it so it would stand up, but I think I like it laying down better because then you can see the wax seal. What do you think? Do you like it? Oh, that shininess picks up all the bumps. And then this is just all black. Almost looks lacquered. We're smoother. So there's my project. It's not very big, it's not very complicated, but I think it turned out really cute, so I'm real happy with it. Excuse me. Now, if you want, I will show you how to make the tree. Would anyone like to see that? Okay, so we'll make a tree. At least Beth wants to see it. If anybody else does, they can peek too. Now, I mentioned on the pre-show that I did, I mentioned that the way this tree is made is very similar to the way you make a tree of life pendant. I don't know how many of you know what those are, but it's where they have a circle and then there's a tree that stretches all to the edges of the circle. And they usually have beads on them as the leaves and so on and so forth. So this really is basically the same way that is done. So if you would like to make one of those, this would be a good way to learn that. And the size of wire is determined about how big it's going to be. If you're going to make a big tall tree, then you want heavier wire, a little bit heavier wire, because it would be more in proportion. I'm just getting some of this wire off without letting it go crazy. Now I'm going to move this out of the way so I don't poke it. And I'm just going to kind of think how tall I want my tree to be and make my wire from that. So I'm not going to make a real tall one. So I'm just going to do my wire 5 inches. And that's totally random. Now, if you were doing a tree of life pendant, you would want to make your wire longer than your circle is wide, because you have to have enough wire to wrap around that circle at the top and the bottom ends of the wire. I hope that makes sense. So and they don't have to be exact, but I'm cutting them close, you know. Always be careful with your wire, that you kind of have control of it, because it can actually poke you in the eye if you're not careful, or other places. I've had wire under my fingernail so many times. Two, 4, 6. I'm going to do 6 more. And this doesn't take very many different kinds of pliers. All you need is, it's helpful to have a pair of flat nose like this, where they're just flat, no serrations. These help. They're not necessary, but they help. Of course, you need some cutters and whatever kind of pliers you like to use. You don't necessarily need round pliers, but you do need something that's round that you can wrap the wire around. And this is a piece of a tool that it's actually a winding tool, but I don't need it to wind. I just wanted to make some short little things. You'll see what I mean in a minute. But just, you can use anything. A thin knitting needle. If you're making real small wire, you can actually use a needle, a big needle. Just whatever you find that'll work is what I do. So you don't always have to go buy special stuff. Sometimes, of course, you have to buy wire and you need pliers, but they don't, unless you're doing jewelry all the time, you don't need expensive pliers. You really don't. You can get by without. But that's a whole longer story about that. It gets more involved in working more with wire. But we're just, to do this, you don't need anything special. You can just use regular pliers and cutters and go from there. It's not that big of a production. Takes a minute to cut your wire, and you don't have to worry about it being real straight. I mean, you don't want it all bent up and kinked up, but some of this looks a little curly, or not curly, curvy, I should say. Okay. Now let's see, what have I got here? 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, so I think I have 14 wires. I think I made the other little trees with 12 wires. So you put your wires all together and sort of, line them up and get them even on the bottom, approximately. And then you have to think, okay, now how is my tree going to look? So if I was putting this on a circle, I would make sure that I left a considerable amount at the bottom, because you would have to wrap those around. Let's pretend that this is the circle. You would have to wrap these wires around this circle. So the bottom of your tree, here's the bottom of the tree. These would be the roots. So the bottom of your tree is where you would want to start twisting your wire. So and you start it right where you want the twist to start. If I start twisting up here, my twists aren't going to be even, and they're going to look kind of funny as they go down to where I'm holding it. So start at the bottom, and you can do this with a pair of pliers if you don't want to do it with your hand, and just hold that really tight, which sometimes it won't do because the wires are all bunched up, but you can do it with your hand. So I'm just going to do it with my hand and just twist it, and twist it in the same direction until you get it going. Then once you have it going, you can bend these wires out and hold them a little flatter like this. So then you can hold them with this. So you want to start down here at this end and twist it from there going up. So as it twists away and looks the way I want it to do, I just move it on up to the next place and twist again. This keeps it from just twisting in one place. If I started way up here, this area is not going to twist. If I just stay down here, this area is all that's going to twist. So you just keep moving up. Check my time, just got a couple minutes, so I'm going to go fast. So you just keep moving up with your pliers and twisting until you get to the top of your trunk. So in my mind, here's my roots, here's my trunk, here's my branches. And I usually do 2 branches. You could do as many as you want, but I usually do 2 together. And you will have a little twisting up here, but that's okay. I usually do 2 together. And then I do the same thing. You're going to twist these. So once you get these once you get your pairs together, then you go back again and you do the same thing. You twist. Just those 2. Now you don't want to twist it all the way to the end, because you want to make the little curls. On my trees in my box, the little curls made the leaves. And so I twisted it this far. You can see that. And then I took my tool, my little skinny round thing, and put it next to this and just wound it. Now I like to take my pliers, once I get it all wound, get these out of the way so you can see. Once I get it all wound, there's a little sharp point that sticks up because you can't do it with your fingers. So you just take your pliers and you wind that all the way around, and then you can pull that out. And that's what you do with all of these little branches. You just keep winding. It's a little fiddly, you know, wire's a little fiddly anyway. But you just keep winding it around there. And if you want your coils to be longer, you just either make your wire longer when you first start, or you don't wind the branch as much. So it looks like this now. So you do that with each one, and then when you get finished, it's full. It's fuller because you've taken each one of these. But you want to at least have 2 wires together for, you know, for a limb. It just gives it more stability. Now, if I were doing this as a tree of life, once again, my fake circle here, it would be like this. Your trunk would end a little bit above the circle, and then these little roots would be wrapped. Of course, it would be thinner. It would be wrapped around here, and wrapped again, and wrapped again, and wrapped again, until these were all wrapped down here at the bottom, and they would look like they were going like this. And then up here, where I've got this wrapped, this would be wrapped around up here instead of curling it like this. So if you wanted a bead, there's several ways to do it, but you could wrap it around once, come out, put a bead on it, wrap it again, put another bead on it, wrap it again, however many beads you want. Or you can actually put your beads all the way down to here, which doesn't look as good, I don't think. But there's all different ways to do it, and you use tiny little beads. But so anyway, I just want to show you that it's basically the same process, and that it's not hard to do. So with my trees, when I got them all wrapped, because I don't have time to do all that, when I got them all wrapped, I put my roots out like this, so they made the base so that it would stand up. Okay. And then I moved my branches around the way I wanted them. And that's pretty much it. That's how you do it. So I hope you all really enjoyed that. And I see that someone did put the link in for Diana. And I hope you stick around and watch her and have a great time. And that's all. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.